AJ, if you'll stay here for a second. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to the center of the stage the president of the World Boxing Organization with a very special presentation of the WBO Super Heavyweight Championship belt presented to the unified champions. President Francisco Paco Barcarcel. Another belt to the collection, AJ. But ladies and gentlemen, the greatest title in sports, heavyweight champion of the world, and the greatest venue for sports and entertainment, and the mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden, New York City, USA. A great combination. It brings back memories of names like Rocky Marciano, Floyd Patterson, Joe Louis, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali. There's nothing like a night of boxing at Madison Square Garden when it involves the heavyweight world championship. So at this time, here to tell you more about what's coming up on Saturday night and what to expect, let me turn it over to the man who runs Matchroom Boxing, Mr. Eddie Hearn.
Thank you very much, Michael, and thank you to all the media and guests that have turned out today. It's another incredible turnout as we really hype things up and turn things up for a huge night of boxing on Saturday at the mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden. I think that sometimes as a team and as a promoter you have to pinch yourself whenever you're at Madison Square Garden. We've been lucky enough to stage 2 World Championship events at the theatre, but for Matchroom Boxing we make our debut at Madison Square Garden on Saturday as a promotional company, and to do it for the Unified World Heavyweight Championship is an absolute honour, and to do it whilst representing the #1 heavyweight in the world in Anthony Joshua is an honour as well. Some very quick but important thank yous to our sponsors on Saturday night, to our new friends, to the family, to Cartier and Hennessy, welcome, and to StubHub, to JD Sports, to William Hill. It's been a long ride. You guys have been there through the growth of British boxing, and on Saturday night we all get the chance to shine at the mecca of boxing, so thank you. This fight is broadcast to over 100 countries worldwide, and 2 of our broadcast partners are absolutely integral to not just the growth of boxing in those territories, but the growth of our business and also the support of Anthony Joshua as well. Firstly, Sky Sports, our UK broadcaster. Adam Smith here, Barney Francis, have just been so important to the growth of British boxing over the years. They made a move with us, thankfully, many years ago to make them their exclusive promoter on the network, and it's seen the rise of British boxing grow and grow, filling out arenas, making us the true icon of boxing in terms of British boxing from the worldwide sport. To DAZN, our new partner, our exclusive US broadcaster, it's only been 7 or 8 months, but the shockwaves have been completely around this country. A completely new way to digest content. Your $80, your $90, your $100 pay-per-views, a thing of the past, coming off the recent successful Canelo-Jacobs fight on May the 4th at Las Vegas. Now we move on to Joshua RUIZ, Golovkin next week, and so much more to come from this incredible new platform that really is delivering for fans. So thank you very much as well. To Madison Square Garden, again, what a pleasure, what a team. Joel Fisher, Sal Federico, this place just, any fighter will tell you, any fan will tell you, makes the hairs on your arms stand up, gives you a tingly feeling every time you walk in there. We were there in December for Canelo, and now again for the Heavyweight World Championship on June the 1st. To the American fans, thank you very much for embracing not just us, but more importantly Anthony Joshua. This week it's been incredible, and part of the development of Anthony Joshua as a fighter and as a brand, of course, is to take him worldwide, keep growing that incredible profile around the world. To the UK fans, incredible. More than 8,000 of you in the Garden on Saturday night. We know it costs a lot of money, but your support and the atmosphere you will create in this special arena on Saturday night is going to be something I hope you never forget. and we won't forget that support that you've shown to Anthony Joshua and the entire card. And when you talk about the card, we wanted to make sure that we invested in the card to give unbelievable value for money on Saturday night, to give our young stars the chance to have, in some cases, career-defining fights, in others, a chance to be on an incredible platform. Katie Taylor going for the undisputed lightweight world title at the Garden on Saturday night. Ireland's potentially, or possibly, I believe so, Ireland's greatest ever athlete. Joshua Buatsi, bronze medal Olympian, getting a chance to shine at the Garden. Josh Kelly in a huge step up. And also Callum Smith, the #1 super middleweight in the world, gets a chance to make his first defence on such an incredible stage. Tommy Coyle from Hull gets the chance to fight former world champion Chris Algieri, and our young stars Diego Pacheco, Amo Williams. What an opportunity for them as well. This is a massive moment for everybody involved, and we thank you for the support that you've been giving us. We're here, of course, for the main event press conference. We were here a couple of months ago, feels like yesterday, when another heavyweight decided to give Anthony Joshua a shove on the stage in front of you. He talked the talk, he couldn't help himself. He couldn't bring himself to try and genuinely and honestly beat the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Once the 3 positive drug tests came in, we searched for a new opponent. I wasn't under any instructions, it was whoever you want. Someone sent me a direct message on Instagram. I'm fighting Saturday, give me this fight, I will fight harder than any of the names you've mentioned, and I will give you a better fight, and I will beat Anthony Joshua. Okay, that got my attention. We had a look, we saw him deal with and stop Alexander Dimitrenko on Fox at the StubHub Centre, and the discussions continued. And I found a man that, of course, you know, with TGB and PBC, the deal was important, but who had a burning desire to create history, create a legacy, and become the first ever Mexican world heavyweight champion. And I have to say, from this side of the table, we respect Andy Ruiz for stepping up and taking the opportunity, and we know that we're in for one hell of a fight on Saturday night. On this side of the table, we couldn't be more proud. A young man who turned his life around through the sport of boxing, who had a very, very brief amateur career that had a silver in the World Championships and, of course, gold in London 2012, became a national hero. Started his career, the expectation was high, boxed all over the country, filling arenas, Liverpool, London, Glasgow, Newcastle, everywhere. Before, of course, the defining night when he won the world heavyweight title against Charles Martin. From there, quick defences against Dominic Brazil in just his 17th fight, 18th fight against Eric Molina, a 19th fight, still so raw, with less than 60 career fights, decided to unify the World Heavyweight Championship against Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley Stadium in front of 90,000 people. What a night. We will never, ever forget. From there, Carlos Takam, 80,000 people at Millennium Stadium. Back to Cardiff again, to unify the Heavyweight World Championship again against Joseph Parker. Then Povetkin, 80,000 at Wembley again. And now we've decided to take the trip to America. And when he walks out on Saturday night, we will all be very, very proud of what this young man has achieved. And in a world where we need role models, we need ambassadors, we need people to really drive and influence the next generation, he stands true in this game and continues to set the standard, in my opinion, in the world of boxing. So well done to both of you, and we expect a fantastic night and great fight on Saturday night. Now we're going to get people up to say a few words. I'm going to start, again, it's been an unbelievable partnership. When we heard the news about Miller, we got together, we stayed positive, we found the right guy, and we expect a complete sellout at the Garden on Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, from Madison Square Garden, Sal Federico.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to New York's historic Beacon Theater. Everyone at Madison Square Garden couldn't be more excited for Saturday night. There's nothing better than the heavyweight championship of the world at the Mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden. I want to welcome Anthony and Team Joshua back to New York. It's been great working with the team during this promotion. Everyone from AJ, Freddie, Andy, Neil, the entire team has been tremendous to work. I'd like to officially welcome Andy to New York and to Madison Square Garden. We've been big fans for a long time, and we know you're here to fight, and you're going to put on an incredible show on Saturday night. As you know, the Garden has a long and distinguished history with boxing dating back to 1882 and the great John L. Sullivan. Since then, the who's who of heavyweights have stepped into the Garden's famed boxing ring. From Jack Dempsey, Max Spare, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Larry Holmes, Evander Holyfield, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Mike Tyson, and of course the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, just to name a few, who have fought at the Garden. AJ and Andy will have the rare opportunity to walk into the footsteps of these legendary fighters when they enter the Garden on Saturday night. We know this is something fighters dream about, fighting at the Mecca of boxing, and it's something we do not take lightly. These guys get to live their dream on Saturday night, and we couldn't be more excited for them. We're expecting a great crowd of championship boxing with the huge contingent of UK fans, and Eddie, I for one look forward to hearing Sweet Caroline sung properly in New York. It's going to be an electric atmosphere and a thrilling fight. Limited tickets can still be purchased at the MSG box office or through Ticketmaster.com, and I encourage you to act quickly because we are expecting a completely sold-out crowd on Saturday night. Of course, I'd like to thank Eddie, Frank, and the incredible staff at Matchroom, Sean, Kevin, Josh, Sydney, and Ross for putting this event together and bringing it to the great fans of New York and the United States. Matchroom has been a great partner throughout the promotion, and we look forward to many, many more events with them in the future. Also like to thank John Skipper, Joe Markovsky, and everyone at DAZN. They've been great to work with, and if you can't join us in person on Saturday, make sure you tune into DAZN. Also, always love having our friends from Sky Sports in New York as well. I look forward to an incredible event, and we look forward to seeing you guys all on Saturday night. Thank you.
Thank you, Sal. As we know, the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and the IBO World Championships on the line on Saturday night. I'm delighted to have the presidents from the WBA and the WBO here with us, Gilberto Mendoza and Paco Valcazar as well. For the WBA, it's a huge night. Katie Taylor defending her WBA title, Callum Smith defending his WBA world title, Josh Kelly, and also Joshua Buatsi defending their WBA title as well. So I'd like to welcome up to say a few words the president of the WBA, Gilberto Mendoza.
Thank you, Eddie. Good afternoon to everybody. Good afternoon to all the media that gather here for this important fight. I have a saying regarding this fight. I was born in the boxing business. Boxing is in my blood. And having the English fans come into the Madison Square Garden, such a legendary venue, bringing that Neil Diamond hit with Carolina, we're going to listen to it. That's the best atmosphere any fan can get. Besides that, we have great wet fighters in the ring. We have, for me, the best heavyweight in the world. He only needs one more belt to certify it. And we also have a great contender. Andy RUIZ will come here to show his aggressiveness, his relentlessness, and I do believe he's going to be a great night of boxing for everybody. And as far as organizations, working together is one of the main things. Paco Valcárcel, who's basically one of my tutors in this boxing business, working with him and trying to make the best fight for the fans, that's what we're here for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gilberto. And over to a belt that I know Anthony has a new version of now, the one he took off Joseph Parker, and actually one that Andy RUIZ thinks he should own as well by now. The president of the WBO, Paco Valcázar.
Thank you, Eddie. It's a real pleasure to be here just to watch this great fight between a guy who was very close to be a world champion, Andy RUIZ, Mexican warrior, and one of the best heavyweights I haven't seen in my life, Mr. Anthony Joshua. What people have to ask, why this guy can bring 80, 100,000 fans every time he fights. It's something that amazing. I haven't seen something like that in all my life, in almost 40 years in boxing. I invite everybody to come to Madison Square Garden just to see a great fight. Good luck to both, and it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to hear from, I guess, our two host broadcasters, if you like. And firstly, from Adam Smith at Sky Sports. These guys have been so supportive of us and British boxing. And I think it's really important to say, although British boxing now is hotter than it's ever been, there was a time when it wasn't. There was a time where we were in the leisure centres with 800 people in half-empty leisure centres, poor fights, and with Sky Sports' support, when no other broadcaster in the UK wanted to be involved with boxing, wanted to support boxing, Sky Sports continuously backed the sport of boxing, and we won't forget that. And now they're in a position as complete market leader for fight sports in the UK. And head of boxing for Sky Sports, I'd like to welcome up Adam Smith.
Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, there have been ups and downs over the 30 years that Sky have been committed to boxing, but I think it all changed in 2012 when this man struck Olympic gold in London. Eddie became our exclusive partners at Matchroom. We have a fantastic relationship with them, and when AJ signed with us and with Matchroom in 2013, it began a new venture. You know, we've had the likes of Ricky Hatton, of Lennox Lewis, Joe Calzaghe, David Hay, Carl Froch, so many others over the years. But Anthony brings something different to the table. He brings huge charisma, real likability factor, obviously a terrific talent inside the ring as well, but a man that can sell out 90,000 at Wembley or at the Principality. It's extraordinary, and it's a pleasure being with him on this ride alongside his excellent team. It's also been really good getting to know Andy Ruiz's team. Andy's a lovely guy, good family man, and he's taken this at, 5.5, 6 weeks' notice after the terrible news about Jarrell Miller. And that's great. You know, he wants to be the first Mexican heavyweight champion of all time. We've had some great Mexican fighters we've shown over the years at Sky, mostly the lighter ones like Morales and Barrera and Juan Manuel Marquez. And he wants to be the first heavyweight champion. I know he's going to give it absolutely everything. He's got a terrific trainer in Manny Robles, someone that Anthony knows well, but Anthony's got his own man in Rob McCracken, and I'm sure they'll have everything ready for Saturday night. I hope you're enjoying everything back home on Sky Sports, skysports.com and Sky Sports News in the build-up. I'd like to thank as well our colleagues at DAZN, Joe and Simon Denyer and Matt Miller and everybody there who are a pleasure to work alongside. Bring on Saturday night. There's nothing like a fight in the Garden. It takes me back to Kevin Kelly, the Flushing Flash, trying to tame the Prince, that 7 knockdown thriller. Let's hope we get another fight and night like that. Thanks.
Thanks, Adam. And again, going into the US markets, a major night again for DAZN on Saturday. As I said, we saw the great fight between Jacobs and Canelo May 4th. This is the Unified Heavyweight World Championship on DAZN. And again, in a period of around 8 months, you look at the talent that have teamed up and joined the DAZN platform. Of course, the two biggest stars in boxing today, Anthony Joshua and Canelo Alvarez, Triple G, Danny Jacobs, Demetrius Andrade, Maurice Hooker, Tevin Farmer, Saur Rungvisai. I mean, the list goes on, and it's only the beginning for this incredible platform that really is one that fans should truly embrace. I'm going to bring up now the MVP, as I call him, Joe Markowski.
Thank you, Eddie, and yet again you've stolen most of my lines, so I'll try and keep this brief. Thank you first of all to the media in attendance. Many of you have travelled many thousands of miles across the Atlantic. We really appreciate the support. I think it speaks to the significance of Saturday's event that so many of you have made the journey. Thanks to Sal and Joel and the team at the Garden for their hospitality. Great partners working with MSG as always, and it's actually the first event in a 3-week residency for DAZN at MSG, so we're starting to feel a little bit like Billy Joel, giving him a run for his money. Just like AJ was there for the start of our American journey back in September, we're very proud to be here at the start of his as the exclusive broadcaster of a dangerous fight against a highly motivated Andy Ruiz, not just here in the United States, but in all of our 9 markets, a growing number of markets around the world across 4 continents. Since AJ made that debut on DAZN in September, it's fair to say that a lot has changed in boxing. DAZN now have 6 of the top 10 pound-for-pound boxers signed to our platform, and many of those are amongst the biggest draws in the sport, of course. Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, and of course AJ himself. We're also proud to say that we featured some of the world's top women's fighters, Katie Taylor this Saturday again, Amanda Serrano and Clarissa Shields, as well as some of the hot young prospects coming through, the likes of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. And at a time when many of the media, many of the fans are focused on how the boxing landscape is fractured across different promoters, different broadcast relationships, we're proud to say that we're working with a growing number of promoters to cut through all of that noise and really deliver for fight fans. Matchroom, Golden Boy, Triple G Promotions, the World Boxing Super Series, all of those promoters are attached to us here in the United States, and that allows us to say very proudly that we have the best schedule in boxing and one that we are continuing to deliver without question at the best possible value for fight fans. But we're not done. We're hard at work behind the scenes, planning the rest of 2019 to build out that schedule, making sure we continue to over-deliver for our subscribers. We look forward to seeing as many of you as possible at the Garden on Saturday night, and to all of those watching on DAZN, we look forward to seeing you too. Best of luck to both the fighters, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe, Adam. At this time, we're going to go to the fighters. I believe we're joined live now on Sky Sports News in the UK, of course, live on DAZN as well. We're going to go to the fight teams. Firstly, the trainers. A gentleman to my left, who I think we all have a great amount of respect for. Our class was one of the top trainers in the sport of boxing. I was a little bit worried when I found out he was actually training Andy Ruiz, because he had a crack of the whip before with Dominic Brazil. He had Manny Robles in London. He got a chance to see 7 rounds with Anthony Joshua up close, and now he has a second chance with his charge, Andy Ruiz, to become the unified world heavyweight champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the trainer for Andy Ruiz, Manny Robles.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you to the entire press that's here today. I don't have very much to say. All I can tell you is that my boy here, Andy Ruiz, is ready. He's ready for the challenge. We had a great camp. You know, people think this was a short camp, but in reality it wasn't. We've been in the gym for pretty much 15 weeks, and we had a tune-up fight in between, so of course we got the big call, and you know, we're taking advantage of this great opportunity. Thank you to Anthony Joshua for giving us a chance. The crack of the title, we're going to give you a run for your money, that's for sure. And everyone, we're going to be walking into Sweet Caroline, but we're going to be walking out to Mexico lindo y querido. Esta va para toda la raza. Viva Mexico!
Thank you, Manny. A guy that has been with Anthony Joshua from the start, even back in the amateur days, a mentor to Anthony Joshua, an advisor at times, and of course a trainer who has seen him develop from a novice in the amateurs to the unified heavyweight world champion. One of the top, if not the top trainer in the UK right now, the coach of Anthony Joshua, Robert McCracken.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. Andy Ruiz was the best available contender when Miller failed his drugs test. Ruiz, for me, was the toughest opponent at that stage. I thought we needed somebody that was going to motivate Anthony. There was a couple of names thrown around that I didn't think would have motivated him, and the camp would have become hard. But with Ruiz, he recognises that he's a quality fighter. Technically, he's sound. He has a good coach. He was very close in the Parker fight. He's a world-level fighter. He's a serious contender, and that's what Anthony Joshua is about. He wants to fight the best that's out there. Right now, Andy Ruiz is the best that's out there for this date. That's the challenge. Josh is ready. We went to Miami. It was fantastic. He worked really hard. 4 weeks keeping him locked up. It was brilliant. He got some good work in. He focused. Ruiz is a good fighter, but we feel AJ is a deserving champion, and will go on and produce a fantastic performance in a great fight, and they'll continue on and unify the division. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Again, now we go to the fighters. This man, like I said, reached out for the shot, he got it, and I've been following him on social media for the last 5 or 6 weeks. I've just seen a big smile on his face, a man that has no fear going into this fight at all. The man, as he said, is just going to let his hands go and try and become Mexico's first ever world champion. A win would make him just a huge, huge star of the sport of boxing. We know he's motivated and he's dangerous. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger on Saturday night, Andy Ruiz.
First of all, I want to thank God, my team, Al Heyman, Eddie Hearn for making this happen. Been waiting for this all my life. Been training so hard since my last fight against Alexander Dmytrenko. I think it came in a perfect timing to fight against Anthony Joshua. And those belts look really shiny, really good, man. And you know, I'm just ready. I'm ready for June 1st. I'm ready to become the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. I'm ready to bring those belts back to Mexico. Well, they've never been in Mexico, but they're going to be on June 1st. I don't really have nothing bad to say about Anthony Joshua. He's a champion. I'm a fan of him. I respect him, but inside of the ring, there's not going to be no respect. There's not going to be no fans, no friends, but all I can tell you is to tune in June 1st at the Madison Square Garden. It's going to be a hell of a fight. I'm going to give it all I got, and we're going to win this from Mexico. Viva Mexico!
Thank you, Andy. And finally, as we said, an incredible journey to get to this stage. Wembley, the Principality in Cardiff, O2, Manchester Arena, the SECC in Glasgow, in Cardiff. It's been phenomenal. On Saturday, he makes his American debut at the Mecca of boxing. The current reigning unified WBO, WBA, IBF and IBO World Heavyweight Champion, Anthony Joshua.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all well. Thank you for being here. I'm better at doing more question and answers than talking about myself. So I'd like to thank Eddie, Rob, DAZN, Sky Sports, my sponsors who helped me prepare, my team. I've got my amateur coaches there, Sean Murphy, Gary Foley, their wives, you know, my dad there, his wife, my team, Ben, who took me to boxing years ago. It's been a good journey. The sport is tough, no doubt about it, but, you know, dedication, focus, and purpose gives me reason to kind of return to the gym each time. I won this title here, the red one, in my 16th fight. I think I was like 3 years into being a professional. And I just kind of wanted to take these challenges without overlooking Andy or his team at all. Andy knows what it's like to be a fighter when you've got this opportunity in front of you, what can come after. So naturally, we always look past. So when I was kind of fighting for that title, I always had my eyes on the next challenge, and the next challenge, hoping to get to the next one. Fighting Andy, for me, is just as dangerous as fighting Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, because they both possess their own skills, and it's a banana skin fight for me in both aspects. So I've got to take Andy deadly serious. I don't overlook him at all. I respect him. I respect his whole team. And I really respect the fact that he put his name on the dotted line to take this challenge. No challenge is easy. No matter what the bookmakers say or the odds are telling you, Andy's going to come in here, as we all know, and give me a real good fight, cause problems, and it's down to me as a champion to think smart, box clever, and out-skill, out-strength, and out-muscle Andy Ruiz to get that win. And there's no fight like after the fight. When your hands are raised, your opponent's been defeated, and you're thinking about sitting on a beach or going home to your family and focusing on the next challenge ahead. Right now, I'm only champion till June the 1st, because this is when I have to defend my titles. So I'm currently heavyweight champion of the world. June 1st, I put them up in the air, and they're up for grabs. So may the best man win. I wish you well. Good luck. Really good to see you again. And thank you for coming out, and I'll see you all soon. God bless.
Thank you, guys. We're going to go to the floor to questions, so get your questions ready. You're going to have some mics roaming around. Just one other thank you as well to the incredible team at Matchroom Boxing UK, Matchroom Boxing USA. I try and name them all, but I forget some now and again, so I'm just going to say thank you to everybody. You know who you are. This is a big moment for us as well as a business, and we're going to enjoy Saturday night just as much as every fan in the arena. We're going to go to the floor now for questions. Yes.
Dr. Abi with World Limit TV Boxing Channel. This question is for Anthony Joshua. You brought in a SEAL guy who's training you just in case you get knocked out and to overcome that. Can you shed a little light on that? Why you got him engaged? And it seems like you're taking this fight very seriously when you have a guy like a SEAL involved in this. Thank you.
Oh, with the Navy SEAL.
Navy SEAL.
Yes, so...
Not an actual SEAL.
Not an actual SEAL. No. You know, this sport, anything you're doing, sport is like just the title, discipline, dedication is what underlies that in anything you do. Let's say you work, promotion, discipline, dedication. So that's the underlying factor of it also. I've been fighting now as a whole 11 years, amateur, professional, and I work with only like a few people, Finchley ABC and GB Boxing. And these guys have been with me, developing me, and it was about time that we all came together with the support I had from Under Armour, and we kind of packaged everything we had learned, and we're trying to express ourselves. Even for me as a fighter, because in my culture, you know, I'm Nigerian heritage, I can't talk back to the adults. I can't say anything. Yes, dad, no, dad, mum, yeah, no, yeah. So when my coach is telling me run 10 miles and I'm beaten up, I could never express that with my coach. I'd just be like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes. So it's just about expressing, bringing ourselves together in certain situations, being under pressure, how you deal with these things. So boxing is, what I'm saying is that's just a title. What the underlying factor is communication, the discipline, dealing with pressure, and you can take that across any field, not only sports, and that's what kind of that was about, is building up the next phase of my career as a person, not just a fighter.
Yes. Yes. Microphone in there, please.
This is for AJ, Valeria Rubino, B-Sport, Corriere della Sera. Anthony, you said you don't want to be a legend. Who is Anthony Joshua today, and who do you want to be in 10 years?
Who is Anthony Joshua today? That's a good question. Yeah, I don't really want to be a legend because I just fade off after sport and just be a family man, which is important to me. Who is Anthony Joshua today? Currently a fighter, a serious fighter, serious about my life. And in the future, I'm going to use my resources, my opportunity and my knowledge to give back to a lot of younger kids, I think. And it sounds boring, right? But through my opportunities, right now, I always believe charity starts at home. So you've got to take care of your family, number one. And then once all your family is uplifted and your friends are in a position, your cousins and stuff, then we can look out to help other people. So that's what I'll be doing in the next 10 years. But right now is about fighting.
Yeah.
Andrew Rosario, New York Beacon. Andy, what did you take away from your only loss, and what is it going to take for you to come out champion on Saturday night?
I think I learned a lot, you know, from the Parker fight, having to work hard, training harder, especially moving trainers with Manny Robles. Learned a lot from him, learning the speed, the movement that I need to win on June 1st, and it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Any further questions from the media? Microphone down here, guys, to the front, please.
Hi, Anthony. Jimmy from Boxing Action Magazine. Talk about your training, and also if you had to change anything because of the different opponent that was in between your training.
Training, we do a lot of running, a lot of sparring. If you had to pick two things for me, you know, if I was a coach and I was looking at my fight, I'd make sure he does his road work, and I'll make sure he does his sparring, so we do a lot of that. The good thing is with my coach is that as much as I love boxing, so, you know, when I'm on the internet, I really only look at boxing. I don't even really like sport anyway. I don't watch basketball, I don't watch soccer, I don't really follow NFL, cricket, baseball. I just like boxing, so I watch a lot of boxing. So with that, I kind of study a lot of other fighters and stuff. But we always just work on myself. Like my coach looks at me and he's like, Josh, this hand's low, that hand's low, relaxing the upper torso, da-da-da-da. So we've always just practiced on myself. The only change we would have had to make in training camp is when we was looking for another opponent, is if Luis Ortiz was to have taken a fight, I would have had to have changed to practice for a southpaw. But other than that, my coach has always been developing me as a person. Like Andy over here had 105 amateur fights, won 100 of them, came through the professional ranks, you know, basically undefeated fighter. He had a great fight with Joseph Parker. He's very experienced. My career has been a lot shorter than that. So my coach has been drilling me, working on fundamentals and basics. So the only changes we tend to make is not so much towards an opponent. It's only if he was to switch stance to southpaw. Other than that, my coach is just solely focused on making me a better fighter. And I like that approach because I feel like this. If anything ever goes wrong, I don't blame, like say, oh, he was better than me. It's just down to me to get better. I've lost in the past. I lost my third fight against Dylan. I lost in the World Championships final. And I lost in the European quarterfinal. And I never kind of said that person was better than me. I just blamed myself and I thought I need to work harder and smarter. So that's like how me and my coach work in the gym.
This question's for Anthony. The American public the boxing public have really seemed to embrace you being over here. Is it going to become a common theme of Anthony Joshua fighting in the US, or is it just a one-off?
You know how it goes, everyone loves a winner. If you're winning, you can fight anywhere in the world. Look, UK has been with me from the start, from grassroots, so I'll never forget where home is and where I'm fighting. But as a world champion, you have to fight around the world, so there's no problem with me. As I said, I love boxing because all you need is a ring, a coach, and a boxing bag. And we can take this setup, training camp, like we did to Miami, New York. We can fight anywhere in the world. So there's no problem with me fighting around the world, but I'll never forget where my home is and where the base is for me, and that's in UK. Also, what's good about fighting in UK, I think, is the emerging talent that's coming up as well. Some people are showcasing their skills on Saturday. So it's good as well to be fighting in the UK because it's nice to have some respect. Like Andy's getting respect from Mexico. American champions fight for America, we fight for UK. So it's good to kind of not forget that we're trying to lift up the sport in UK as well.
Solomon Sissoko as well on the card on Saturday. Forgot to mention him earlier.
Solomon Sissoko,
great talent.
French fighter, bronze medalist in Beijing.
Yeah, one more question here. It's in the middle.
Anthony J. RNC with FightHack.com. The closer that this fight gets and the more that the public gets to know who Andy Ruiz is, I think the more excitement there is for this fight and the more of, I think people are viewing this as maybe a closer fight than the Big Baby Miller fight. Do you agree with that assessment, that this might have even been the better fight to begin with?
Good question. That's a very good question. That's a question that you might have to ask Eddie. Maybe you're trying to get me a little easy fight with Miller, you know, but that boy wasn't going to make it easy with all them drugs in his body, you know. That would have been a proper scrap. Like, you know, when I look back, I thought, you know, the guy's a big guy and all that, fine. I don't think he's a good boxer, but it would have been a proper scrap with all them PEDs in his system, but it is what it is. It would have to break him down anyway. But that's a question that you have to ask Eddie. I don't know why we would have overlooked Ruiz. I don't know. That's a good question. But I think what it is that, in my opinion, Miller's with the zone. And he's promoted by Eddie. So it works well. It's easy to make. With Andy, he's with a different advisor and so on. So I don't know why he didn't go direct there. But sometimes it's easy to do good business with people in your stable as well. Hence why Miller was a competitor. Interestingly, Miller and Ruiz were going to fight previously. So it's like the same. We're all on the same playing field. Ruiz, Miller, myself, we're all fighting for the same cause, trying to be the best in our division. So I'm glad I'm fighting Ruiz as well, because he will bring out the best in me in terms of his style, you know. He uses attributes well, comes forward off the line. His left hook is one of his best punches. It's hurt a lot of people, and it's what comes after that as well. Miller wasn't gonna, I don't think he can box as well as Ruiz, in my opinion. But as I said, with everything that was inside of him, would have made it a good fight.
Just to comment on that as well, I do think he's a tougher fight than Jarrell Miller. I think the Miller fight was made for a couple of reasons. One, it was a good fight. Two, he does work with DAZN. And three, there was that genuine beef between them. And that was evident in the build-up. But I do believe this is a tougher fight than Jarrell Miller. Right, we're going to do one more picture up here now with the two fighters and the belts. And then we're going to break for more media. And we'll see you at the weigh-in tomorrow. The doors will open at 2:30 at Madison Square Garden. A message to the UK fans coming over. We made the weigh-in 3:30 p.m. so the flights coming in to New York will all get a chance to see the weigh-in. Please register for tickets. I think we're at about 4,000 plus tickets already, and we've only got about another 1,000 in the capacity we have for the garden. So it's going to be full up. It's completely free. Just register for tickets, and we'll see you for a great atmosphere tomorrow and a wonderful event on Saturday night. Thank you very much.
Someone better get him because he'll disappear. Yeah? So how long are we going for now? A comment about it. We need to comment on what we've seen. How did that feel?
Wow. How was that, Gareth?
Well, it was very slow, and it's what we expected. These guys don't do their talking outside the ring. They're both very considered people, total respect between the two, and they will do their talking in the ring in Madison Square Garden on Saturday night. You know, there was no drama, there was no pushing and shoving. It's exactly what we expected.
Absolutely. Well, that was a press conference. It's been absolutely amazing to be here. We've got so much more content coming out during the week. I don't know if you guys have checked out and seen the video we did with out in the barrio.
With Andy Ruiz Jr., absolutely brilliant fun. And also, by the way, what we did see today, and we'll see it more tomorrow,
yes,
when we do the live weigh-in show from the garden itself, is that Anthony Joshua is a much larger specimen than the 6'2" that it says on Andy Ruiz's BoxRec record. He looks like 6 foot to me, and Anthony Joshua looks a much higher towering presence.
Yeah, you were calling him 5'11" the other day. He could be.
Well, no, obviously,
yep.
They're standing off right now. It's still very respectful. And as Andy Ruiz says, he's going to flick the switch and go to war with him when the bell rings on Saturday night.
Well, like I said, we've got so much content coming out during the week. Keep it posted to absolutely everything over William Hill. We've got so much content coming out during the week. Keep it posted to absolutely everything over William Hill, on IFL TV, on Seconds Out, and IFL TV, on Seconds Out, and on Sport Bible. We'll be back tomorrow, live at the weigh-in, and then Saturday night, where it all goes down at Madison Square Garden. I've been Cheeky Sport Dave.
I'm Gareth Davis. We'll see you tomorrow.
On Sport Bible. We'll be back tomorrow, live at the weigh-in, and then Saturday night, where it all goes down at Madison Square Garden. I've been Cheeky Sport Dave.
I'm Gareth Davis. We'll see you tomorrow. Well,